That was a highlight for sure of last night's game. Unfortunately for the Tigers, they were unable to secure the win. They took the lead 3-2 going into the seventh inning, and things kind of fell apart for them there. Had a great at bat from Fry, who ends up getting a home run, pinch hit home run off of Bo Brisky. Now this is where we get to our first guessing. Any move that you didn't like last night in the game that you felt at the time, not sure I would agree with. Right? None of this revisionist history stuff.
Right.
Okay, because the result worked the way it did. But you and I were talking before the show. For me, I wasn't sure going into the game. Like this is after the game on Wednesday. I thought, okay, Bo Brisky threw 27 pitches on Wednesday. Is Bo Brisky going to be available on Thursday? I'm thinking to myself, probably not. And Will Vest threw 20 pitches on Wednesday. Is he going to be available? Because both of these guys also pitched in game 2, right? So I wasn't sure if they were going to be available going back-to-back days after throwing 20 pitches and 27 pitches respectively. But when Bo Brisky came out, my initial thought then is, okay, I would have questioned it. However, I do trust A.J. Hinch completely with what he has done with his pitching staff. That he and Chris Fetter, they talk with the pitchers. They know exactly where they're at. And if Bo was coming in there specifically to face a right-handed hitter, I should say, in the pinch hitter in Fry, okay, that's the matchup you want. If he gets out of the inning, if he gets him out, then he doesn't have to pitch anymore. Because as a pitcher, yes, you have to face 3 batters, but only if it's in the same inning. You can finish an inning and then you don't have to come back. So it would have been a one-and-done type thing. So I kind of bought back into it. Because, all right, if it's just one, I get it. But still, I was a little nervous about it because of how much he had pitched.
Well, the question was going to be, though, if he did get out of it, do you bring him back for the 8th, or who do you put in for the 8th? Because if Fry makes the last out, you're looking at Ramirez, Naylor, and Thomas coming up. So basically, it's 2 lefties and a righty. Well, Ramirez is a switch hitter, but he would bat left-handed if it was Brisky or Vest or Foley. Because I don't think they had any lefties left, did they?
That I'm not sure.
No, because Holton
John
pitched already, and so did.
Oh, Tiger. You're talking about Tiger's pitching.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So it was going to be a righty. So he might have pitched. I don't know what they would have done. If you're going to talk about second guessing moves, I don't know if I would. I had no problem with when they brought Job in because they hadn't seen him. Maybe it wasn't the greatest idea to have him start the 9th, but whatever. That didn't work out because they got a run. The thing that I would, and it's not on the manager, it's more maybe on the player or the first base coach. Riley Green leads off, I believe it was the 8th inning, right, with a single.
Yes.
Okay.
Off the 8th inning off a Heron hit a base hit.
Right. So they're down 4-3 at that time.
Correct.
Okay. He brings in Ibanez to pinch hit.
For Colt Keith, which makes all the sense in the world.
All the sense in the world. And Ibanez hits a long fly ball to the wall in right field.
Opposite field, yep.
Opposite field. I never got the sense it was going to be a home run from where I was sitting. But it was a little. And I don't know the read he had for the first base coach or Riley Green. Why is he halfway between first and second? That should have been an automatic, especially Riley Green is pretty quick, okay? That's a tag up to second base. Automatic for me. And I know, they don't do it enough in the pros, in Major League Baseball. I can never understand why, especially at Comerica Park, which is the biggest park in baseball. To me, he should have been on second base. Now, who knows whether the base hit that followed would have still happened if he was on second base? Everybody always goes by that. Well, this would have happened. No, you never know because the pitch choices may have been different with him on second base. But to me, you got to get him on the scoring position.
I agree with you 100%. That is a pet peeve of mine that I have watching games because that extra base is so important. And I feel like this was a misstep by the Tigers because I feel like this is something the Tigers do a lot of. We praise them for what they do on the base pass because they are so heady, because they are so well prepared. That Jake Rogers goes from first to third on a base hit like it's his job because you know what? It is your job.
Yeah.
But he does it despite the fact he's not fleet of foot. Here you've got Riley Green who is fleet of foot.
Right.
And I'm with you. The fact he didn't tag up, I'm like, oh, come on, what, you didn't tag up.
Right.
And does it end up being important? Yeah, it's important.
Right, if.
Because you play the if game, sure,
right.
because then you follow that up with
Perez got a hit.
Yep, which would have scored Riley Green.
Right. So that bothered me. And also you can even, I didn't have that much of a problem with it earlier in the game on the sacrifice fly that scored the Tigers' first run. I thought Torkelson could have tugged from second to third.
Well,
but
the only problem,
that's
I mean, because his Torkelson doesn't run well. The other thing is the outfielders for Cleveland do have good arms. So you have to take that into account. The Riley Green thing, I'm with you on. Maybe Torkelson not as much, but Riley Green I am. 248-539-9797. Let's go to the phones. And Adam is in Gibraltar. You're first up here in 97 The Ticket. Hey, Adam.
Hey, guys. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Kind of a rough day for us to Detroit.
Yeah. Okay.
I went to the Wings game last night, so, feeling the aftermath. But anyways, I'm with you, Stoney, on the Torkelson thing. I know he's not fast, but if you look back at it on that bases loaded, 0 outs, that sac fly, the ball was offline at third. I mean, Tork could have made that. I mean, when you're in these situations, where the Tigers, where they're at today, how they got here, is aggressive base running and good pitching.
Yeah.
They were not aggressive on the base pass at all last night. I feel like they should have put more runners in motion. Hit and runs. I feel like that's something Hinch doesn't do, but I also feel like he doesn't trust his guys enough with the bats to do that.
Well, I think it's twofold. They also don't have true base stealers on his team. I mean,
Right.
Parker Meadows has elite speed, but he's not the best base stealer. But he's got elite speed
Right.
to get him going. I understand that.
Yeah.
And the other guy, McKinstry runs well.
Yes.
And another thing is when they brought in Holton and Ramirez hit that homer on him, he switched him to the right, and Ramirez bat's almost identical from left to right, at least with power. But if I'm Holton, you have the first 2 out, you got an open base. I would have not even pitched Ramirez. I would have pitched around him, see if you would have chased some balls and then go after him. Because then you had Naylor lefty on lefty. I mean, I know he's a good hitter, but I would have trusted that matchup a lot more.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that either, Adam. And thanks for the call. I've said for weeks, I don't pitch to Jose Ramirez.
Right. Let
I don't
somebody
wanna
else
do it.
beat you.
Exactly.
I totally. And
Nobody on base, put him on first, and then you got lefty-lefty matchup. I totally understand that.
I mean, we mentioned the bases loaded, nobody out, and they scored a run on the sacrifice fly.
Yeah.
To me, that's the key of the game is the fact that they didn't score more runs in that situation, and there was another situation where it was close. They didn't. It was like the Tigers of old, where they were so, mediocre with guys in scoring positions. I mean, last night I think they were 1 for 11. Now, not that Cleveland was great. I think they were 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position, but I don't care what they did. It's what we did.
But that's that's a missed opportunity. Despite Jake Rogers hit a line shot. It was he had a nice at bat with it, but unfortunately, it's right at the shortstop, and he's able to make the double play easily. And for those who are watching on TV, you heard their crew, talking about it that looked like Torkelson took a couple hop steps towards second as soon as the ball is hit, and that's what really exposed him. I still think he would have been out even if he's standing dead still. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, they didn't get more runs out of that situation.
Right.
Everybody thinks you should. And yet the Tigers have benefited from those situations
correct.
too. So that's just part of baseball.
How about the defensive play Cole Keith made, by the way?
That was phenomenal. The ground ball in the hole at second base, he lays out for it. Absolutely saved a run. But not only does he lay out for it, the ball takes a hop, and he has to raise his glove while he's diving for it.
And he made the save. Unfortunately, he wasn't in the nets for the Wings last night.
No, I don't know why you got to go there this early. Kenny, do you understand why he's doing this?
Because, you know why, Gator? Because you did the motion like a goalie would make a save. That's why.
Gator, I just don't think we need this. Not this early in the show.
Piling on.
I know.
I think it's just piling on.